Do you have Leo in your birth chart? The house that it rules. If you're taking my 30-day challenge, we covered how to look for that on day one. Oh my, is there a lot moving into Leo? And if you haven't heard about this already, which I'm sure you have, we have a solar eclipse, a new moon eclipse in Leo on August 12th. So, major change related to what you are releasing to make space and make room for where you have Leo in your birth chart. So, this is a major new beginning and a chance to really create something new in this area of your birth chart, in that area of your life. This is an opportunity to align yourself more so with joy than perhaps you have been, releasing whatever in your life is not truly joyful for you, so you can step more into fun and joy and playful energy. That is our focus overall for the next year and a half, now that the South Node is in Leo. We have so much going on this week. Things might feel pretty intense. Things might feel pretty intense relationally. Things might feel pretty intense mentally. So take it easy, have your grounding practices, have the practices, especially styles of communication. We're just gonna let that do what it's doing. I don't know what it's doing. I'm blurry. Funny because Mars is squaring Neptune this week, which blurs things. Venus is opposite Neptune this week, which blurs things. But that more so, Venus opposite Neptune this week is going to be a wake-up call around any relational delusion that needs to be addressed and needs to be changed, needs to be evolved, needs to be let go of. So anything, especially any new thing that you began with relationships in regards to people in your life, in regards to your self-worth, your money, perhaps, your financial situation or picture, your self-worth and your values and how that plays into relationships, the people you have around you, friendships as well as romantic relationships, whatever you were starting or focused on, kind of stepping into a dream around or getting more clarity around or setting intentions to have a new beginning with back in, I want to say March, April of this year. That is going to be tested with Venus opposite Neptune. It's going to be tested in a really major way for longevity of whatever you began relationship wise or started a process of awakening around or clarity around or clearing delusion around, clearing illusion, getting more clarity perhaps around March or April of this year. So that is going to be tested this week. And again, in alignment with that, is what you have and who you have in your life really truly bringing you joy or not? Do the people in your life, do the things in your life feel fun? Do they feel playful? Do they feel easy, effortless? Do they feel do you feel passionate about it? Do you feel like your creativity is sparked or your joy is sparked in what you're doing or who you have around you? If yes, awesome, you're on the right track. You've already done the work, right? If not, you kind of got to look at things, clear it out the way so you can make space for what actually is joyful, exciting, passionate, fun, creative for you, right? That is Jupiter and Leo that we are in for the next year. And everything else moving into Leo right now is amplifying that, especially this new moon eclipse on the 12th. Believe that is Wednesday. We also, like I talked about in last week's introduction to the weekly update last Sunday, I talked about Saturn retrograde a little bit and just piggybacking on that, I'm really being asked to slow down in a lot of ways in my life and reassess, right? That's retrogrades. We get a chance to slow something down and reevaluate. Oof, does this still feel aligned? How do I need to adjust, refine, reflect what changes do I want to make, what adjustments do I want to make so that this feels more aligned. And those of you that also have Mars and Aries, just like me, are perhaps also experiencing this and how you act on things and what you move forward on, and especially being asked to just slow down your energy, slow down how much you're taking on, slow down how much you're doing. I know this to be true for myself. Saturn's retrograding over my Mars. So it's been a lot of, hey, slow down, reassess. Is this gonna be built? Is this like something that is long term? Does this have longevity? Are you building this and moving forward in this area where you have Aries in your chart is how it's gonna show up for you on a solid foundation, right? Are you building it on a foundation that's gonna last? If not, what needs to be adjusted? What needs to be refined in order to continue to move forward and build on a solid foundation that's gonna last, that's gonna have longevity and stay with you, right? So I'm experiencing that big time as Saturn is retrograding over one of my personal planets. So you might be experiencing that too if you have anything personally in Aries. And yeah, that's really a focus of this week is just kind of reeling things back in a little bit, reflecting on, okay, what needs changed, what needs adjusted? Do I need to leave this relationship? Do I need to leave this home and pursue something that actually is joyful and aligned for me and that feels good for me, right? That feels more easeful and more joyful. Perhaps for you, it's a career situation, a work situation, a style of, eating habits, fitness habits, nutrition, mental health, like depends on your personal chart for how it's going to show up for you, but we are all being asked to really set intentions to have some major change of new beginning. Or you have Leo in your chart. That's eclipse season, right? It brings kind of like a heightened, more intense retrograde. It brings a major like push to focus on what needs to be changed that just doesn't serve you and where you are headed. That doesn't serve where you're going, that doesn't serve what you're building, right? So that's eclipse season. The rest of August, really, we're entering the portal of eclipse season this week. So that's a general overview. Again, let me know where you have Leo in your chart in the comments. Let me know where you have Aries as well, if you have any personal planets in either or both. Let me know. And without further ado, let's get into the horoscopes. Hi, Aries Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your inner world, on your foundations, on your roots. There's a lot you're going to be questioning this week in regards to your identity, your sense of self, how you present yourself to the world, what you do creatively, and perhaps making adjustments to all of that as you see fit. And also, how you're balancing you, your home life, and your relationships. Those are big focuses this week. And really, it starts on Monday with that emotional focus being in your inner world, your home, giving you a kind of foreshadowing of perhaps what changes you could move forward with as we get on into the week. So for you, Aries, the eclipse in Leo will be in your area of creative passions, of children, dating, romance as well. So it could show up in that part of your life, wanting to set new intentions, have a new beginning with anything related to that, because that is where it's happening for you, is in your area of creativity, dating, creative projects, passions, pursuits, pregnancy as well, if that applies for some of you, related to, what is changing about you and what you're reflecting on in terms of your identity or sense of self that's changing in a major way, as well as how you present yourself to the world related to the identity you hold about yourself and present to the world. So there could be some big emotional release around that on Wednesday. There could be some emotions tied into creative passions, projects, dating, romance, children that are released as well. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your area of day to day, your routines, your systems, your schedules, your work, your physical health, how you're balancing all that. So it could be Thursday and Friday, a really big emotional focus on like, okay, clean up. What do I want to change about my day to day, my routines? Moving forward, what do I want to do differently in order to take better care of myself, or what these goals are that I'm setting that are emerging in major ways, right? So that's really a big focus on Thursday as well as Friday. We get into the weekend, and on Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your area of relationships. There could be a big wake up call on Saturday, Aries, related to relationship, related to what you're again building or stepping into as it relates to your identity, your body, your appearance, your sense of self that just doesn't feel relationally aligned, or certain people don't feel aligned anymore with where you're headed, where you're going, who you've become. The release of any tension you face or challenges you face in terms of balancing what's happening on Saturday, especially with you, with your home and your family, as well as your relationships. The release of that is through your career, is through your image. So perhaps there's things that you're realizing you need to structure, do differently about work, about career, that are coming up from this frustration or challenges in other areas, right? As we get into Sunday and we end the week there, the focus is still on your area of relationships. So Sunday might just be a day of integrating what you've realized you want to change or do differently, getting kind of a sobering lens on things and feeling a bit perhaps emotionally challenged as well. That does bring you clarity through any tension you face between you and relationships as we end out your week. So that is your week ahead, Aries. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. And I will see you next week post eclipse. Hi, Taurus Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your communication, your day to day. There might be things on Monday that feel really busy or feel really emotionally loud that you're having to deal with and just probably feel really emotionally busy. And that may like busy and that might bring up certain emotions. Monday feels pretty emotionally charged for you in your day to day. There might be some hard conversations you have to protect yourself or set boundaries around your mental health kind of thing, speak up for your emotional needs, that kind of thing on Monday, Taurus. As we get into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into your area of home, family. There's a lot of focus on your home. There's a lot of focus on, again, like I said in the introduction of this video, what is joyful for you about home, about family, about your actual roots, your foundations, and what doesn't align with that joy has to go. So there's a big emotional focus on clearing stuff out of the way, and that might bring in your area of career, of public reputation. There could be some tension that is happening between your home and your career that perhaps requires an evolution. And there might be some people you can lean on to have better support with any frustrations you face around home, career, and you on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have the eclipse in your area of home. So this is major change and a new beginning within your home life, your physical surroundings, perhaps dealing with certain childhood things, generational things. There's a lot of emphasis on that and emotionally looking at certain things to clear so you can set intentions to have some sort of new beginning. And on Wednesday, there could be a really big emotional release related to that later in the day on Wednesday or perhaps early Thursday. There could be some sort of big emotional release related to home, childhood, family stuff. You're also getting a lot of, how do I say, there's a lot of intensity building for you in your areas of like routine. So there could just be a lot changing for you and you're struggling to perhaps know how to ground the energy, perhaps know what you need, right? So again, it's like what are your emotional needs? How can you move from that place of like, oh, I just need to go lay in the grass right now, or I just need space from my phone and people right now. Like really this week is about prioritizing your emotional needs when things do feel intense because they will. And as we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your area of creative passions, dating, romance, perhaps. And there's things you might be cleaning up about that or realizing, okay, I need to put a little bit more time or structure some more time, schedule more time to focus on my creative passions and what brings me joy. Because if not, it's going to fall off the wayside. And then all of a sudden I'm overwhelmed and burnt out because I didn't prioritize what actually brings me joy creatively, right? So that is something that you're really feeling called to prioritize. Thursday and Friday is okay, how can I schedule in time for me that's just fun time for me that I make a foundational part of my routine and how I move through life. As we head into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the emotional focus for you shifts into your area of work, day to day, routine, schedule, physical health. There's a big emphasis on balancing your schedule, your routines, again, what you need and what you value in your life to feel supported, with relationships as well, perhaps, like who you kind of need to have around you to feel support, and balancing that with your mental health. So that is how we end out your week, Taurus. I feel Sunday is a big day of integration related to those themes and realizations you'll be gathering little breadcrumbs about all week. And that with that, I leave you. Let me know how the eclipse goes for you, and I will see you next week post eclipse. Oh. Hi, Gemini Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your money, finances, possessions. There could be some emotional intensity related to that and what's happening with your long-term goals, visions, community, friendship as well on Monday. So there could be just some intense emotions that are feeling frustrating or challenging on Monday related to self-worth, value, money, possessions, literal things that you have. You might be feeling like, okay, I really need to downsize, that kind of thing. Monday and Tuesday. Later on Tuesday, though, the emotional focus for you shifts into your area of communication, of short distance travel. There could just be things that you're feeling really busy, and perhaps need to really prioritize space for yourself to do things that are joyful, that are fun, right? Like I talked about in the introduction. This week is all about realizing what is fun for us and making it a priority, releasing the things that aren't aligned with our joy, that aren't aligned with that fun, playful energy, so we can have space for what is, right? Big focus of this week, especially Tuesday, Wednesday for you, Gemini. And really how you can bring joy into your day to day. And there could be something building, emerging about sharing your voice, sharing information, communicating from the joyful space of what really lights you up related to your long-term goals and visions that you're getting more and more clarity around how you want to refine and do a little differently. There could also this week be some tension between creative pursuits, projects, dating, and your long-term goals and visions, right? So it's all about balance. It's all about what needs better alignment, what needs to be merged between your creative passions and pursuits and your long-term goals, what feels aligned to move forward on and with, and perhaps start to share and be seen for or be known for building something related to what is fun and joyful and creative for you. So that is Tuesday, Wednesday. As we get into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your area of home. There could be things that you're really cleaning up about your foundation, perhaps childhood stuff, perhaps your literal home, purging things, getting rid of things. Could feel on Thursday too a little emotionally chaotic in regards to you and your home and how you're balancing what's changing about you, your appearance, or your identity, and what's also going on at home. They're just could feel like those two areas are challenging each other on Thursday temporarily, but again, it's forcing you to evolve and clean up what you need to move forward in ways that feel better for you ultimately. Friday is a day of integration. It's a day of, okay, what do I need to do differently? What structures or systems can I put into place to support myself? And as we head into the weekend on Saturday, the emotional focus for you shifts into your area of creative passions, dating, pursuits, things like that, things that are fun, things that are joyful. Also, children, there's a big focus over the weekend on children, emotionally, maybe even your inner child, emotionally supporting your inner child if there are things you have neglected about what brings you joy, right? Bringing that back into the forefront and that focus of your life. And at the same time, the focus over the weekend on children could put tension on what's happening with your long-term goals or visions or what you're building. That could also be putting some tension on what's going on with money or what's changing or moving forward about money or finances as well. So Sunday is kind of a day of integration, like, okay, what do I do about this? How do I evolve? What changes do I need to make? And you move forward with that as we get into next week. So that is your week ahead, Gemini. Let me know how it resonates with you. Come back and let me know post eclipse how things go, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Cancer Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on you, your identity, your appearance. Could also start the week with the feeling of emotional renewal. At the same time, something about your emotional focus on you is challenging what's happening with career, what you're building with career, or perhaps making subtle adjustments around to build in career. That could just bring up what needs to change, what needs to be evolved, right? And there's a lot changing as well, and money for you and possessions, perhaps with food. A lot of mental focus on money and what to do differently. That feels more aligned with joy. That feels more aligned with your creative passions. I mean, that's where the eclipse is going to be for you, Cancer, is in your area of money, finances, possessions, food, how you nourish yourself, your self-worth, your values, your possessions, what you have around you, and also how you bring in money in ways that feel joyful for you. Like you really have to do things for money that are fun, that are truly a passion for you. And so this week is bringing that to the forefront of your focus and asking for you to make adjustments. What needs to change so that you can align more so with your joy in terms of how you make money and what you do for money. So there could be some really big breakthroughs on Wednesday around that. Things could feel really intense mentally around that. You might be getting a lot of ideas right now. So write them down. You know, like if you can't take action on them right away, write them down, come back to it. There's also just a lot going on and perhaps a lot of tension happening this week as well with your home and your career between those two areas of your life at the same time. As we get into Thursday, the emotional focus for you shifts into your communication area, into where you're going on a daily basis, who you're talking to, what you're sharing, how you're sharing yourself, your ideas, your information, your beliefs, your mindset is also going to be an emotional focus Thursday and Friday. So there's a lot there. There could be some big breakthrough on Thursday around a belief system that needs to change, that you need to evolve in order to do what you want to do moving forward. That, again, more so aligns with your joy. Friday is a day of integration related to that. As we head into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the emotional focus is on your inner world. It's on your home, your family. There could be things you're just reflecting on. Okay, what do I want to change? What do I want to do differently as it relates to your foundations or perhaps your physical living space? Or who you live with or around, who you hold close to you. There's a big emotional focus on just kind of bringing more balance and harmony to your inner worlds related to what's going on with you, related to what's going on with career, and a big focus on releasing any tension or frustrations, challenges you may face over the weekend through supportive relationships and people around you that feel safe, that feel comfortable, that feel supportive for you moving forward and doing what you want to do, and you're realizing that you want to build or step into. Right. So that is your week ahead, Cancer. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week post eclipse. Hi, Leo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your inner world, your mental health, really on the belief systems that kind of, your subconscious that run everything. And at the same time, that emotional focus on your inner world and your subconscious is challenging your external belief systems, how you view life, how you view the world around you. So there's a lot of reframing that's happening for you and a lot of integration related to that emotionally of, okay, oh, how do I need to change my mindset around this in order to feel differently or vice versa, right? Oh, I mean, you can't really change how you feel about things, but it's like you can reframe the way that you view how you feel. And instead of viewing things from a dispowerment lens, you can view it from an encouragement lens, right? You're being asked this week majorly, Leo, to change the way you talk to yourself. Change the way you encourage yourself and really being your own best cheerleader and talking to yourself from a place of empowerment of like, you're doing so great. I'm so proud of you. You're going to get through this. Talking to yourself just like that in the ways that you personally need is really going to support you and help you this week. Going to create the space for a lot of big breakthroughs for you moving forward. I mean, that is the really big focus of the eclipse for you personally that we have on Wednesday in your area of you, of the self, of your appearance, of your identity is how are you supporting yourself emotionally and being your own best cheerleader? And then stepping into what you love, stepping into your joy, your passions from that place, right? To be seen for that. So there's a lot of mindset, belief system, communication pattern work happening for you this week, Leo, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. Later on Wednesday, there could be a big emotional release related to that. And then as we head into Thursday, the focus emotionally shifts for you into your area of possessions, self-worth, money. What are you doing for money? Are you doing things for money that really bring you joy, that really feel like you're alive? It brings you joy to do it. You feel like you're being of service in ways that you want to be of service, right? That's your emotional focus. Thursday and Friday is on how you make money and what you're doing for that money every day. There might be something you need to change. There might be something you need to step into that's different and evolve. So that's a really big focus Thursday and Friday. As we head into the weekend, your emotional focus shifts onto your communication. So Saturday and Sunday especially could ask you to really communicate your needs and speak your truth from a harmonious, balanced place. There could also be some major wake-up calls again related to your mindset, your perspective of life, and your internal communication related to that, and being your own supporter, your own cheerleader when things feel challenging, as opposed to letting those negative thoughts run your life. Talking to yourself in an encouraging way to uplift yourself, and perhaps putting yourself or filling your time or schedule with motivational speeches or things that lift you up, things that feel positive, things that help you to more so support yourself positively in your inner world, your inner talk. So that's really the biggest focus for you, Leo, of the week ahead. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments and how this week shows up for you, and I will see you next week post eclipse. Hi, Virgo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your long-term goals, community, your vision, social media. On Monday, that is challenging what's going on with your inner world, your resources that you share with others or receive from others, as well as your intuition, your abilities, any psychological or psychic transformation you're in. Things could feel a little bit emotionally challenging in regards to that on Monday, and there might be a big emotional clearing that you experience either Monday or early in the week. Could happen as late as Wednesday, but that's really a big focus for you this week, Virgo, is on your mental patterns, your mindset, your subconscious beliefs. Not necessarily what's happening, but what you're believing to be true about what's happening, right? And there's a really big push for you to transform the way that you see something, the way that you view something, how you talk about something, not only to yourself, but also in your head, how you're talking to yourself about what is happening. So there's a big illumination of that and emotional focus on your mental health, your inner world, your subconscious. That is where the eclipse is going to be for you. Virgo is in your area of the subconscious. That happens on Wednesday. So there could be a big illumination and a big focus on, okay, what do I need to more so align myself with at a foundational level about my subconscious or my mental health or my belief systems that more so support my joy and support my creative expression or support my passions in ways that are needed, right? And there could be some big emotional release on Wednesday, late on Wednesday, related to that as well. We get into Thursday and Friday, and the emotional focus is on you, Virgo. There could be a feeling of, on Thursday, a fog lifting. There could be a feeling of an emotional renewal on Thursday, feeling more so embodied in your sense of self, how you present yourself to the world. There could just be a lot of things clicking into place about how you're presenting yourself, how you're moving through life, how you view yourself. And again, it all stems back to how you talk to yourself and your inner talk, your inner mindset, right? Big themes this week for everyone, and especially for you, as well as themes around self-worth, really choosing to see your worthiness, be embodied in it, and perhaps channel any frustrations or challenges that you face as we get into the weekend into your creative pursuits and really maybe creating some sort of structure or system around your creative pursuits. Because Thursday, Friday could also be a cleanup, refinement of something related to your appearance or your identity. And then as we get really into the weekend on Saturday, the emotional focus for you shifts onto your possessions, your money, how you're making money. There could be a big wake up call with money in terms of relationships or what you do for money, how you provide for yourself, or perhaps if you're in a relationship of the intimate variety, like finances in that dynamic kind of could there could be things coming up to focus on or shift about that as well over the weekend on Saturday. And then Sunday is a really big day of integration. It's like, okay, we get a little bit of a breather on Sunday and it's like, what do I do? What do I move forward with in my life that I realized I, can't ignore or can't remain delusional about? It's like really there's something about your self-worth, your possessions, your money, food perhaps that gets a big wake up call emotionally by the end of the week. And it's like, okay, we gotta really make this happen. We gotta really set this into place or create the structure system for myself to move forward in ways that feel more aligned and joyful. So that is your week ahead, Virgo. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I will see you next week post eclipse. Hi, Libra Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your career, on your visibility, your image, your reputation. There could be things you're emotionally driven to act on about career or implement in regards to career or how you're choosing to be seen or known, what you're choosing to be known for at this time, what legacy you're building for yourself. At the same time, on Monday, that could challenge what's happening about relationships or what you're building about relationships. There just could be some reflections you're realizing need to be adjusted, slight adjustments to relationships of all kinds in your life so that you feel more supported emotionally in your ability to focus on career. Tuesday and Wednesday, the major emotional focus for you is on your long-term goals, visions, community, friendships, social media. That is where the eclipse is going to be for you on Wednesday, is your area of long-term goals and vision. So there could be some things that are being, you're needing to let go of, you're needing to release that just don't align with where you're headed, that don't support your vision, that don't support where you're going or what you're doing or who you're doing it with, perhaps like the community you have around you or what have you. There's a lot of breakthroughs that come in this area of your life this week, Libra Rising. Lots of breakthroughs in terms of your long-term goals and visions and just what doesn't feel aligned anymore, what just doesn't feel joyful, right? Like I talked about in the introduction. So there could be a big emotional release related to that on Wednesday and letting go of something emotionally that maybe you were tied to so that you can step into what actually feels good, what actually feels aligned. As we get into Thursday and Friday, the emotional focus for you shifts into your area of the subconscious, of your mental health. So there could be a little bit of reprieve you need to take from people, from work, or things on Thursday and Friday. There could just be a stepping back moment in order to reassess and reflect and have space to clear your head or get clarity, clean up some stuff that needs looked at, needs cleaned up, needs adjusted. There could be just kind of a chaos moment related to that on Thursday, but Friday is really a day of integrating, really emotionally clearing and cleaning up things that maybe had been neglected about your inner world, your mental health, your subconscious, or your belief systems. As we get into the weekend, Saturday, the emotional focus for you shifts into your area of you. There is a sense of emotional renewal. There could be a lot of frustrating things this weekend that really kind of highlight what relationships aren't aligned for you anymore. There could be some really big clarity moments related to that. That just think people in your life, whether it's romantic or not, friendships could even, get a purge, have a purge moment of a wake up related to a wake up call you have. Perhaps even over the weekend, there's a sense of emotional clarity related to like how you really want to be known, what you're building, how you want to be seen, and who you want to surround yourself with as part of that, as part of the legacy that you're building and that you're really moving forward with at this time. There could be the need as well to take a little bit more space to yourself and your home, your foundations, your roots, and putting some focus there if other things feel challenging. And Sunday is a day especially of kind of again, like I said, sobering clarity in terms of you balancing your needs with relationships and who you have around you that either support what you need or don't. So that is your week ahead, Libra Rising. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I will see you next week post eclipse. Let me know how it goes for you. Hi, Scorpio Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your mindset, your belief systems, how you're viewing life. There could be some big, emotionally frustrating clarity moment related to that, and or perhaps work, your day to day, your physical health, things that are going on, on a daily basis, or your routine, your schedule could just feel emotionally challenged on Monday, and it kind of brings this awareness of, oh, something needs to be shifted here, something needs to be adjusted that feels more emotionally supportive for me moving forward. Tuesday and Wednesday, the big emotional focus is on your area of career, public visibility, the legacy you're building for yourself, what you want to be known for, what you want to be known to people as or for. There's a lot of focus on setting intentions or yeah, setting intentions towards a new beginning for your career, your visibility, how you're seen and how you're known to the world as well as those around you. So that's a really big focus. I mean, that's where the eclipse is going to be for you, Scorpio, on Wednesday. So that could be a big theme of Wednesday is getting clarity on what you want to build. Maybe that's majorly different than what you have been building in terms of your career, but it is and has to be more aligned with your joy, your creative passions or pursuits, and your long-term goals and visions as well. So that's Wednesday. There could later on Wednesday be emotional release tied to that clarity, tied to those breakthroughs, perhaps. As we get into Thursday and Friday, the emotional focus is on your long-term goals, visions. It's like, okay, I got the downloads or I got the idea, the inspired creative thing I want to do or the realization. And now what do I put into practice? What do I put into place that feels aligned with where I'm headed? Perhaps that's reaching out to community or setting up systems in order to share your work or share yourself with community or with friends or however it shows up for you, right? It's about putting systems and structures in place related to what you're building long term for yourself that actually aligns with your vision and what's changed about it and how you move forward. So Thursday and Friday could be really big days of related to that, especially Friday. As we get into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday are a really big focus on kind of reeling it back in, getting clarity, maybe spending some time in meditation or in nature. Focus emotionally on your subconscious, maybe what needs cleared about your belief systems that play into what you want to do or what you're getting ideas around, stepping into or moving forward on or with. There's a big emotional focus on clarity in terms of your values at a subconscious level, and how to more so balance your physical health with your mental health related to that, and who you want to have around you that supports that and supports where you're headed, supports these mindset shifts and perspective shifts that you're stepping into in a really major way. We end out the week on Sunday, could be some sobering clarity that comes in relation to all of those themes, and you move forward with more clarity and perhaps more ideas and information on how to act and how to implement what you've realized you want to do or change about your life in various ways. So that is your week ahead, Scorpio. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I will see you next week post eclipse. So let me know how it goes. Hi, Sagittarius Rising. We start the week off with the emotional focus on your resources, resources that you share with other people, investments, inheritances, debt, as well as your intuitive abilities, psychological transformation, where you're going through a transformation, perhaps of your physical items or emotional transformation is a big focus on Monday. There could be something purging emotionally in your body related to that that perhaps something with dating or creative pursuits or passions could bring up for there to be an emotional clearing around. As we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, the emotional focus is on your mindset, your perspective, your belief systems, how you're viewing life, what needs a change emotionally and within your mindset, within your communication, your internal communication, as well as your external communication, what needs to change that really feels more aligned with your joy, your passions? What are you sharing? What are you putting out there or wanting to that really feels more aligned with your joy and where you are headed? That is where you're going to have the eclipse for you, Sagittarius, on Wednesday, is in your area of perspective, your belief systems, how you're viewing life. Spiritual gifts, perhaps as well. There could be a sense of really feeling more sensitive, really feeling having heightened intuition at this time, heightened dreams, things like that at the same time. And it's really just kind of, shift your mindset related to that and how it's all showing up. There could be an emotional release related to some outdated belief system on later on Wednesday after the eclipse as well. We get into Thursday and the emotional focus for you shifts into career. There could be things you're cleaning up or systems or structures you're implementing about career or visibility or what you're building in regards to your legacy. That could put some tension or challenges on relationships. Just kind of a temporary emotional frustration on Thursday. But Thursday and Friday, the big focus for you is on your career, how your reputation, what you're building, the legacy that you are contributing to building for yourself with your work, and how you share yourself and your gifts with the world. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the emotional focus is on your long-term goals, visions, community, relationships, perhaps social media, who you have around you, people that really truly feel emotionally supportive and that you value. It's all about really cultivating those relationships at this time. And perhaps waking up from or getting clarity around any delusions that were there in regards to dating or romance or creative passions. There could be a lot more clarity around relationships and how you're balancing those with your own needs and your own identity over the weekend. And especially Sunday, there's a sense of perhaps social, emotional, sobering clarity related to social dynamics, community, social media, how you really relate to other people and what you're sharing with other people. Again, that relates to your legacy that you're building and the work that you're doing. Um, and who you want to have around you that supports that and builds that up. So that is your week ahead, Sagittarius. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. And I will see you next week, post eclipse. Let me know how it goes. Hi, Capricorn Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your relationships. There could be just an emotional focus at the start of the week on people, connections, and what you need to feel emotionally supported by the people around you, and vice versa, how you're emotionally supporting the people around you that feels aligned for you. There's a big focus on that on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, the emotional focus is on your inner world. It's on your resources that you share with other people, that you receive from other people, as well as your own inner world, intuitive ability, psychological transformation, or any transformation emotionally or in your body that you're going through or releasing emotions around at a visceral, somatic level. That's a big focus for you Tuesday and Wednesday, and that is where the eclipse is going to take place for you, is in your area of transformation, of somatic release, emotional release from the body, of renewal, of purging. So there could be some perhaps big emotions that come up for you to Wednesday, more specifically later on Wednesday, for you to really feel and heal and clear out as it relates to receiving, as it relates to your self-worth, values, possessions, perhaps literal finances, and again, receiving from other people and how your self-worth is tied into that. As we get into Thursday and Friday, the emotional focus shifts onto your perspective, your belief systems, how you're viewing life. There could be some new perspective or view of life clicking in. There could be some more spiritual practices or beliefs that you're adopting that you're really kind of integrating into your mindset and how you view the world around you. And Thursday, there could be some chaos related to that and what's going on with your work or your day to day. It could just be a really busy day. And it's kind of like, okay, how do I emotionally balance all of this? But that could also create some emotional breakthroughs that help you to shift your perspective, right? That's also a theme on Friday is how are you viewing life and how are you talking to yourself in a way that supports what you need to feel good about what you're doing and perhaps clean up your mindset a little bit, or clean up your perspective or your belief systems in ways that are needed emotionally. As we get into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the emotional focus for you shifts into your area of career, visibility, and it's also how are you balancing what's going on with career as well as your home life, your family life, or your inner world, your inner foundations. There's a big focus emotionally on career and on what you're doing there, what you're building. But at the same time, it's like don't neglect your own needs, your own foundations within your own inner world or home or family. For what's going on in career. It's kind of like don't neglect yourself for what's going on in your external world. Remember to take care of yourself and your own needs in a structural way, so that you don't burn out, is the energy. So that is how we end out your week, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week post eclipse. Let me know how it goes. Hi, Aquarius Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your day to day, your schedule, your routine, what supports your physical health as well as your mental health. There could be an emotional focus on just implementing some things that you need to feel supported. There could be some emotional clearing happening as well on Monday to prepare you for the eclipse that we have on Wednesday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The emotional focus is on your relationships, and there's an emotional beginning, building in regards to your relationships that peaks or happens around the time of the eclipse on Wednesday. There could be some major new beginning with relationships that you're embarking on. This could be a new relationship. This could be a new relationship with the person you're in a relationship with, like a marriage or a deeper form of commitment. This could look like just wanting to create more intentional connection in general, friendships, community, people you have around you, collaborations that are more joyful, that are more fun, right? Like I talked about in the introduction, it's all about what brings you joy, what feels fun for you, and what do you need to release that just no longer feels aligned so you can make space for what does feel joyful. So that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, the emotional focus for you shifts kind of into your inner world, your area of transformation. There could be something related to that, or perhaps shared resources, resources that you share with others or that you receive from others. That's the emotional focus for you Thursday and Friday. But on Thursday, there could be something about that that challenges what's changing about dating, romance, creativity, perhaps at the same time. And all of this week, really, there's a lot of focus on how do you balance and how do you merge what's changing about you and what's changing about your needs within relationships, as at the same time changing about your communication style or how you share yourself, your ideas, your belief systems. Like there's a lot of change this week, and it's really like just don't forget your structures that support you is the main thing. And Friday, there could be a really big focus on implementing some things that structurally feel more supportive for you at a foundational level. As we get into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the emotional focus is on your perspective, your belief systems, your spiritual pursuits, and perhaps wanting to spend more time around people who support that, support how you want to, what you want to talk about, or what you want to learn, or what you want to teach, or how you want to grow and evolve. Um, at a really foundational level. So there's this kind of sobering moment that perhaps comes Sunday related to communication styles, belief systems, and what types of people just don't line up with that anymore. And again, making adjustments to your relationships in ways that feel more supportive for you and where you're headed moving forward. So that is your week ahead, Aquarius. So let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week, post eclipse season. Let me know how it goes, or not season, but post our first eclipse. Let me know how it goes. Hi, Pisces Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your dating, romance, creative pursuits, passions, projects, as well as children, if that applies. There could be something you're gaining emotional clarity around or focused on there emotionally, in terms of taking action or wanting to just put more energy towards or on. Tuesday and Wednesday, the major emotional focus for you is on your work, your day to day, your schedule, your routine, releasing things about that that don't feel joyful so you can make room for what does, like I talked about at the beginning of the video. Wednesday, that might peak because that's where the eclipse is happening for you, is in your area of day to day, physical health, work, how your work life balance, balancing your own needs, physically and mentally with what you're sharing about yourself in work or to make money, right? So there's a big focus on setting an intention to have a new beginning with what you do on a daily basis that feels more supportive with your joy and your passions. This could be embarking on a new project with work or new work altogether, something that just feels more joyful, right? And fun, and it allows for playful expression. That's the eclipse for you. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your relationships. There could be some things about your relationships that are just kind of you're wanting to refine, you're wanting to change emotionally, perhaps needing more support from the people around you and having to reach out in order to receive that support. Things could feel a little emotionally chaotic on Thursday as well in regards to relationships and home or family. That's just kind of a temporary emotional frustration. Friday, there's more of a focus on, okay, what do I need from people around me? What do I need to refine about the people around me or my relationship with others in general? There's really a big focus on that and what your needs are versus what other people's needs are, and how you can really kind of merge the two. And that is also a focus as we get into the weekend, as on Saturday, the emotional focus for you shifts into your area of shared resources, of emotional vulnerability, of transformation. There could be some things emotionally that you're getting clarity around in regards of what your needs are for intimacy or your needs are for emotional vulnerability or transformation, and how you can receive that. This is also the area of money, receiving money from others, borrowing money from others. So there could be something about that that you're getting more emotional clarity on what your needs are in regards to that, and how to move forward with that and build what you're building on a solid foundation in regards to money, as well as balancing the resources of other people or how you're receiving money from other people. So that is how we end out your week, Pisces. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I will see you next week post eclipse. All right, next week we have the moon moving through Scorpio. Yeah, the 17th could be a little bit intense. As we're really, the start of next week actually could be kind of intense as we're really pushed to implement what we realize we want to implement. And there's a need to really like clean up stuff about our lives that just isn't aligned with where we're headed, to take action, to initiate things, to act on that clarity we've received with the eclipse, perhaps. It's really like, okay, you can't put it off anymore. Like what needs to change? How can you put it into place? How can you take action on it? Is really the major energy as we get into next week. We're also going to have Venus opposite Saturn. So there's more of a make or break, more of a sobering clarity around relationships and how you're balancing the people around you with this new version of yourself you've been stepping into. Do the people around you still feel really aligned? Do they not? How can you balance that, right? Maybe the relationship has to change altogether. And as we end out next week, there's emotional breakthroughs, there's emotional clarity, more things being kind of tested and more things being illuminated that need released. So we can step into what really matters, what really does feel fun and joyful, and like a youthful, playful expression for all of us, right? Stepping into what we're doing and what we're building. We also enter into Virgo season, ne the end of next week. So that's going to change some stuff too, right? It's going to bring us a little bit more internal and focused on, in general, refinement, what we're changing, what we're adjusting, um, about our lives that really need it. So that is next week. As always, let me know how your horoscope resonates with you in the comments. Let me know how the eclipse goes for you, and I will see you next week. Bye.